welcome back to the Fixing Football Podcast Extra. I am here today to talk about all things Chelsea with my brother Scott. Scott, how you doing, mate?
I'm very, very well, mate. I am all good. Happy to be discussing the mighty, gargantuan Chelsea with you today. How's everything going your end? You all good?
Yeah, life. Fucking million podcasts to do in a week. So let's crack on, because I want to talk about Chelsea because I think they're an interesting one this season.
Okay.
First of all, who are you? How are you, Chelsea? How's that happened? What's happened in our lives where you've ended up this side of the wrong side of the tracks?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Because I heard you talking about this. I think it may have been on the Blackpool edition of this, and we sort of had a similar, exactly the same upbringing. Born in the same house to the same parents, so it'd be weird if we didn't. But I think we were you used the term, we were kind of free agents of football. And I think that was kind of a good way to put it, because we were Dad kind of, he had a team, he supported Man United, but he wasn't one of these, like, he wasn't a die-hard football person. He kind of enjoyed it and watched it a bit and picked a team, but he didn't live or die by what happened at Old Trafford on a weekend, did he? He wasn't that arsed to a degree. So it was kind of like...
Clearly not how we ended up.
Yeah, there were no beatings doled out for this. But like in some households, if you go and support the wrong club, it's like people disown you and everyone's falling out, and it's a big drama.
My children's football kits are already on the way. We're planning our trip to the Emirates this season, and they don't have a choice. I need backup. I've been on my own for too long, so unfortunately, they are getting the treatment.
Yeah, I won't be as lax as Dad. If any future son of mine, if he's not blue, then it's immediate disownment.
It
was kind of, I guess it was one of those where you kind of just left to your own devices to pick a team, and then you just kind of gravitate. And I think a bit how you sort of went the opposite to Dad. I kind of like did that with you a bit. You went red. I think my brain immediately went blue. Yeah. And that's kind of genuine when I tell the story of like how I became a Chelsea fan, because naturally living up north, you get it a lot. And it was kind of genuine. My favorite color was blue. I do remember the very first player that I ever watched and really started to really get me as to what, like, this football is actually really good. It was Gianfranco Zola. And he was the guy that I just sort of looked at and thought, this is cool. Like, I like whatever I'm watching. I'm really enjoying it. So then I was more of a Zola fan first almost. And then it sort of, I figured out who he played for, and then that was it.
I mean, mine was Michael Owen. So there's always that sort of thing with Liverpool. And then, but that never took off. It's just weird. You just, unless you're like integrated early on, you just wander around a bit of a nomad, and you either do end up with football if you love it, or you move away, and then that's what happens. So
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Like that thing that latches you on to your club or the in general, and it's and it's one of those. I think you also said it right. Something just works. Something just feels right in your soul. Because a bit like you, like I went to a few Bolton games because they were local, and it was cool, but I didn't care, and I tried to care, but I just didn't care. And then with Chelsea, I definitely cared. So yeah, it just started to grow from there.
So Chelsea, the mighty Chelsea, as we unfortunately have to refer to them now as these days, the world champions. Talk to me a little bit about last season. Obviously, Enzo Maresca, his first stint in charge, and then was he the manager all season last year?
Yeah,
he was his full.
Yeah, we sat Poch like not long after the last season ended.
That was it. And then, talk to me about the story of the summer, which luckily for you has been mostly televised. So you've not had to just scroll Twitter for all your information. You've been able to like carry on watching.
Yeah, it's been live and in living color. It's been great, and I'm going to be insufferable about it for as long as I can possibly.
Until we get rid of that badge off the shirt.
4 years of that. 4 years of that beautiful. Although one thing about that badge, it's fucking massive. It's bigger than the Chelsea badge.
It is big. I was surprised at that.
Because they put it bang in the middle. So you've got the badge here, the Nike here. And it just looks weird. Like, if you make it a bit smaller, it's fine. But I mean, I'm not mad at it. But, yeah, it just makes it look a bit strange. But
the American stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit ostentatious. But, I'm not going to be any less smug about it. But, yeah, so last season, let's get into last season. So I think, myself included, I was one of the first people to say, what are we doing bringing this guy in? Because in my head, we'd built this young team that needed, even if you were going to have all youth players or younger players and no on-pitch experience, that to me needed an elder statesman at the helm. So if you're not going to have leadership on the pitch, at least have a guy off it who's won everything, knows what they're doing, and can kind of steer the ship that way. So I was very, very surprised that we went the direction of Maresca. In most, he sort of fit the mold of Chelsea's current model of young, unproven. We see a future in him. We won't have to pay 20 million to get him out of a contract at wherever he's at in a few years. But yeah, I was very skeptical. I was very happy to be proven wrong, but my prediction was that he'd be sacked at some point middle of the season and we'd have another shocker.
Yeah, I think that was the common thread as well. And the fact that like it clearly wasn't, he wasn't coming in to build a team. Like signings were happening whilst his appointment was in process as well. Like Poch was on the way out, signings were still happening. There's like a timeline of signings and managers, and nothing lines up to say this is my guy and this is my set of players. It just, the two run side by side, but not joined up really.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've heard people talk about this a lot, and it's a difficult world now being a manager because, you know, what back in the day you had full control of all the comings and goings. You were the guy who sorted it. Maybe you didn't swipe the credit card, but you were the one doing all the legwork and building the team. But now, because managers turn over so much, but the long-term future of the club has to be planned probably beyond the future of that manager. We're planning for life after Maresca while he's still with us.
Player contracts are far longer than manager contracts.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Palmer's here for 8 years and Maresca's got 4 years left. So. And it all goes well. He stayed. Maresca's still the manager. He's winning us everything and all great. But realistically, the odds are against that happening. So it does take, I actually think now to be a manager, it takes a special kind of guy to help the club plan for players who you will never see. Because like you've then got to care about the club after you're gone.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? So I think it's a tricky one. So I think, he was probably being brought in with an element of these are going to be the guys that you've got to work with, or these are the profiles that we're buying. But I do think as time's gone on and the more trust he's got in the bank, I feel like he's having a bit more of a say as to the profiles he needs, because ultimately he's passed every test that he had this season. That was kind of my main overview of the season that we just had. We won everything that we were expected to win. We finished in the league where we were expected to finish, or where everyone's deemed that we needed to finish. Yeah. And then I'd say we probably went over and above with the World Cup. So he's earned a bit of a say, I think, in the kind of people that we bring in, because he's getting the results to match it.
So Club World Cup aside, obviously well publicised, and it was the only thing to speak about over summer, so we've covered it enough. Transfer business and the way the club's set up at the moment, how's that gone? And is there anything left to do? Any business left to do? Outs, ins? Is there any cleanups needed?
Yeah, there is. There's a few pieces of business. The business we've done so far, I think we've addressed most of the key areas in the squad. The striker, we've got seemingly two of them now with Pedro and Delap. We lost Sancho, he didn't re-sign, and Mudryk is probably never going to play football again. Or, I hope he does, and I hope it all gets worked out for him, but the smart money doesn't go there. So we had 2 holes on left wing to sort. We've filled one of them with Gittins. And I think Garnacho is almost nailed on. I think that's inevitable. I think there's somebody at the club who really, really likes him, and he's just hell-bent on that transfer happening.
What is that? Is that because that's clearly not, he's not being bought for his previous season form? I think there's a talented lad in there. I don't know if he's a world beater like he may have originally thought when he first come on the scene. Yeah. But I think there's a talented player there, and either that needs harnessing or maybe brand Garnacho, which might even be bigger than the talent, is worth investing in.
It's an interesting one, that, because I actually spoke to one of my colleagues about it. He's a big Man United fan. We were talking about Garnacho to Chelsea, and he said that it was an interesting one. You talk about the brand. He can't stand him, and he's I think he's in his mid to late 40s, and his son, who's about 13, loves him. Like he's like, he thinks Garnacho's the shit. So the brand of Garnacho is probably something not to be sniffed at, because he's clearly got a following. I think where ultimately it comes from, I think clearly we see something in the raw materials of Garnacho that can be something. And I think that's a lot of what the model is. We're going to buy all the promise, and inevitably you're going to strike gold somewhere. And the good thing is with that, you kind of only need to do that a couple of times. You only need to find one Cole Palmer. It's worth buying 10 randoms to get one Cole Palmer, isn't it, when you think about it?
It's an expensive hobby, that.
It is. It's expensive, but they've got the cash. And ultimately, if he's then going to go on and lead you then to Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, Club World Cups, which get you 100 million quid, it's like, it's not that bad of a strategy. I don't think that's strictly what we do. I don't think it's enough shit at the wall that it sticks. I think it's educated, data-driven decisions and all this nonsense.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of so I think we're seeing something in the raw material. And I think as well as an option, because he is now, United have tanked his value ridiculously from how they've handled him.
You buy it, the stock is as low as it's going to be.
Exactly. So we can probably pick him up for best part of 30 million for someone who's 90. I think he's 20 years old.
Yeah, he's around there.
So, and he's got all of his career ahead, and he could well land at Chelsea in the right environment with good players around him and just fucking go to the moon.
Yeah.
And then even if he doesn't work out, odds are we'll get our 30 million back and maybe a bit extra. So I think it's a way to plug a gap in the squad.
I mean,
with
yeah,
another option at left wing.
Knowing the way Chelsea sell, it's profit central. You guys are the masters at it.
We are.
I know we could definitely learn a thing or two.
Yeah.
Business left to do. So other than Garnacho, goalkeeper, is that on the horizon? Do you see something happening?
See, this is a weird one. So if you'd have asked me a few months ago, if you'd have told me a few months ago that Mike Maignan and Donnarumma are on the market, available, ready to be picked up for under 30 million each, I'd have been like, oh my God, like we're finally going to upgrade on Sanchez. But the Maignan deal we walked away from. Milan didn't want to do business for the number that we wanted to do it at. So and I think if there is legitimate interest that we think, you know what, he's the guy for us, we can go back and get him for free in 6 months. So I kind of, although it's frustrating because a lot of fans have wanted to see us upgrade the keeper, I kind of get it. Donnarumma, I actually think I think wise to stay away from. He's a great name to bring in, but I don't think if Enrique has deemed him not fit for their system, which is probably the most similar to ours in world football that I can see, I don't see why we should bring him in. So
it's an interesting one, that.
Yeah.
Let me just give you my thoughts on it. What Sanchez offers you, or what he doesn't offer you, is presence, which I think is where the value would be in Donnarumma. Technically, they might be quite similar. I know Donnarumma's got a mistake in him.
Yeah, he does.
His league form was terrible, and that's probably what's drove Enrique to this madness when kicking him out, basically. He's just been like, he's probably turned up to pre-season and been like, where's all my stuff?
Yeah.
What's happening?
His fob doesn't work at the training ground anymore.
Yeah. He's still got his medal on. He's still got his kit on from Champions League final. And like, what's happened here?
I know.
So, I mean, he was inspired in the last stage of the Champions League. So he's got it and he's talented. He's been around for a long time. And I think coming into the Premier League, this is where the value will be, is his presence. Sanchez encourages a shot in the same way an Onana does. And the more shots you take as a goalkeeper, inevitably the more you concede.
Yeah.
Now,
I'd say that's fair.
People don't take pot shots against Liverpool because chances are, in your head, in my opinion, if the best goalkeeper in the world is in front of me, I need to make sure when I shoot, I've got the best chance of scoring.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to try and work that opportunity way more.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's more of a mental thing in the same of Peter Schmeichel. Technically, maybe Peter Schmeichel wasn't as great as we all maybe remember the romanticize of him. But his presence was so much so that you had to make sure you don't see a lot of goals against Man United from long range because people don't take them. You know, that in them glory years, in the same way David Seaman had that, Peter Cech didn't have that, where people just go, this guy's good. I need to.
The aura of the keeper is important.
A little bit. This is what I'm talking about.
You've got to aura farm. If you're not aura farming as a keeper, you're failing.
Donnarumma back at net, giving it all this.
Another point on that as well. I think they're both going to make mistakes. I think goalkeeper is that position that inevitably you're going to fuck something up, and it's going to usually lead to a goal. But I think where Sanchez is brilliant is a straight shot stopper. Some of the saves he pulled out last season were ridiculous.
Yeah.
But he puts us in danger in other ways. And I feel like Sanchez's mistake will be trying to play it long. A bit like when Rice scored against us. I don't know if it was last season, maybe the year before.
Yeah.
When he tried to clear it, it went straight to Declan Rice's feet. He pinged it from 35 yards and it just curled in because he was miles out of position. I back him in a 1v1, but those are the kind of issues that he'll bring to our table. Whereas Donnarumma, some of his errors are more shots going through his hand and like going under him and like his positioning's off. I feel like they're like different kinds of errors that they're going to make.
Yeah.
But yeah, I take your point. I think what we're going to ultimately do with the goalkeeper, I think we see Mike Penders, this mythical Mike Penders that no one's ever seen. I think we see him as like, he's seen around football. And I think if this isn't just Chelsea bias talking, I think he's been well covered on loads of podcasts.
Yeah. I listened to, I think it was Duncan Castles talking about Penders and his sort of journey and where he's at currently. And he was, by all accounts, the next one.
Yeah. So I think what we're trying to do, because if you bring in a Donnarumma, when's Penders going to play?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you have to pay Donnarumma 300 bags a week, which we're just not going to do. And I think it's better and Sanchez has improved. If he plays anything like he played against PSG and in the 2 preseason games we just had, we'll be fine.
Oh my God. He was playing like he wanted Trump to sign him.
He's incredible, weren't he?
Unbelievable.
Absolutely incredible. So I think the smart money for Chelsea is to stick with what you have and clear a pathway for this next greatest goalkeeper on earth. I think that's the smart money. So I don't think we'll do anything goalkeeper-wise. I think the only other 2 things that I think we will do, well, one I think is definitely happened, which is Xavi Simons. I think that's basically just as soon as Nkunku gets a buyer, I think Nkunku out Simons in, and that I'm really excited about because I just want my club stacked with ballers. Give me all the technical ballers that you can. Give me hundreds of them.
He's a good player. I'm concerned that he's not settled anywhere. There's something about that. And because he's always played, it's not like he's been benched here, there, and everywhere. He's just never settled. Whether he's great for, people can get a fee, and there's more and more fees attached to him, and he's a sellable asset, and maybe there's a little bit of that. I like him as a player.
He's another big brand as well. Like the brand of Xavi Simons is big as well. So I think there's an element of he left PSG because I think he left Barca because he wanted to play, and then I think similar with PSG. So I think it maybe comes from a place. I think he drives the moves because he just wants to play.
He had PSV as well in that spell there as well. So.
Yeah, exactly.
I like him though.
Yeah, he's going to be a baller. And then the final piece on transfers, we may know that Colwill is probably out for the season. We might move for a centre half, but I can see why you would. I can see why you wouldn't. I can see why you wouldn't, because eventually he's going to be back, hopefully to the level that he was before. And then if you've just gone out and got a Bastoni or Gahey or whoever it is, then what do? You've kind of just blocked away. And again, we've got a kid in our defence who's sort of a right back, centre back, who we see big things in as well. And I wonder which is Josh Achampong. And I do wonder if we're thinking, you know what, for a year, let's just give this guy the keys. We'll save a back. We don't have to spend 60 million on Bastoni or God knows whatever it would cost. And then when Colwill's back, he can be eased back in, and you've got a guy there who's ready to step in. So I actually don't think we'll go for a centre half, but I wouldn't be surprised if we still did.
So, okay. So what are your thoughts on Chelsea then? Chelsea, the club, everything sort of around the pitch at the moment, where you're at with the manager. What's the overriding, maybe not just you as well, but the overriding thoughts on Chelsea as a whole, and what the wider fans think? Yeah,
I think we're probably in the best place that we've ever been in since probably the last time we won the Premier League or won the Champions League. There's a general feeling of optimism that we've not had for a long time. I think what happened in the Club World Cup can't really be understated. I think that took us from, we got 4th place on the last day to, holy shit, we're building something here. We've actually got a team that can take it to the best in Europe and not be phased and come out on top. So I think overall the feeling is extremely positive. I think over the course of the season we saw the best and the worst. It was the Jekyll and Hyde. We had we had Chelsea fans chanting, "We've got our Chelsea back" in November. Maresca chants in the stands and all that stuff. And then by January, it was wanker, you shit. Because we did go on a catastrophic run of form over the winter, which we often do. Winter's usually our worst time of the season. So we've seen it all. But I think at the moment, we're going into the season actually thinking, there's a lot of Chelsea fans out there that are thinking, we're dark horses for the league. We could go and do something major this season. And I don't really disagree. So I think overall, the feeling is good. There's a few things that I think are pissing everyone off, which I'll come to on my fix. But I think I have faith that they will get sorted in time.
Fair enough. Starman. So let's target the uneducated, maybe lesser known Chelsea fans who stumble upon this podcast. Who's the Starman for Chelsea? Who's the main man who you're all looking to? Is it
big dog?
Is it Gillian here? Is it we getting? Is the aircon on?
It is. Oh, it's a bit cold now. Yeah, it's the Iceman, Cole Palmer. I think we have, and when I judge best players in the world, I try to think of it of if everybody's fit and everybody's on the best form, who is the guy? Who is the man? And I think I am slightly biased, but I think if everybody, because Palmer had a bad year last year, but he still got 19 overall goals in the campaign.
Yeah,
not a bad return. I think he still got 14 in the league, maybe, or maybe 12. I think it was. So I think if everybody's fit in the league and everyone's on form, I still think he's the best player in the league, and I think he is probably the best chance England have to get a Ballon d'Or winner from our country anytime soon. I think he is that good, and I think he could. I think he could walk in. He's one of the few players, and I think this is another, when I think of world class, who could walk into any team on earth at the moment, and I think he's one of the few that could. I don't think there's any team that would turn him down.
Don't disagree. I wonder what the Chelsea look like without him. Not to say that that's due to happen in terms of a move away or anything. I'm more thinking if he ends up sometime away from the pitch due to injuries or whatever. He's had a long 18 months, really.
Yeah, he has.
And at some point, there's a good chunk of that Chelsea side going to take a dip. My expectation is they do take another dip in the winter.
Yeah, I suspect we will.
He's an unbelievable footballer, but he did go missing for a good amount of time this season. Now, whether that's a system thing, I don't think it's all on him, because I worry that an over-reliance on him, despite the amount of talent around him, there's still a reliance on the best player. And a little bit like Liverpool will always look to Salah. They just signed Florian Wirtz, and looks like Isak's going to come in, and another 90 million on Ekitike, and they've got an unbelievable squad, and yet they will still look to Salah. And if he's not there, it's like, oh, what's going to happen? Like no one's going to be like, it's fine, we got backup. It's still Salah.
Yeah.
And and we've had that last season. Ødegaard went out for 3 months. It's like, what do? We lost our striker, playing Marino up front. It's like, what do we do? So I don't disagree. I think he's an unbelievable footballer.
Yeah, I think it is difficult if you lose your best player. Even if you've got loads of other good ones and great players, you can't. It's hard to mitigate for that. You see it with City and Rodri. When Rodri leaves that team, they are shocking, and maybe that's more. Maybe it's a problem as to how much they rely on him. And I think we had that with Palmer as well. He did go a bit missing, and I think maybe there's an element of he was the main man all the year before. He played more games than he thought. He's still very early in his career as well. He's played, and then I think then when you've got Jackson who was misfiring, Madueke didn't chip in with loads. Sancho was okay, but didn't contribute loads. So it's kind of like, I think we're filling the team with other contributors. Like Joao Pedro, for example, he's got 5 goals in 5 games, albeit some Club World Cup, some friendlies. But you've actually got there an outlet of somebody who can, if Palmer ain't there, I think last year we didn't have anybody else who could really take a game by the scruff.
Yeah.
Now maybe we're getting a few more of those. So I think this year, I think we'll take a dip just due to fitness and general fatigue. But I think you could, and this is why you get a Xavi Simons. Palmer needs a rest, drop him out. You've got I don't want to say similarly creative because I think Palmer's head and shoulders above anyone, but you've got somebody who can change the dynamic of a game really, really quickly.
Oh, he's so involved in every time I've seen Xavi Simons, he's so involved in every part of the game. Like he's a great footballer. I agree. I think it's a great signing, and shit happens when you're the best in the world. You can't expect everyone else on the team to be the best in the world as well.
Exactly. Yeah, the level drops. And I think it's weird because I think football's seeing a bit like the basketball trend of most basketball teams, they have a star man, like your LeBron James, your Kevin Durant, whoever it may be. And when they're not there, the level is so different. They're that guy for a reason. And it's like not everybody can be no one can contribute the way Mo Salah contributes at the moment because I have my outspoken feelings on him as a footballing talent, but as an output machine, what can you say? He's an absolute freak. So, we'll take away our 30-goal season striker and expect it not to impact us. It is going to hurt. So, yeah.
So, aside from Cold Palmer, who might be the one to watch who maybe the main media might have overlooked? Who's the one coming up through Chelsea who you think might have a breakthrough season, might be able to start getting some minutes?
Tricky one because there's a lot of I struggled with this one, and I have one outstanding. I'm going to give a very quick honourable mention to 3 players who I think could be. I think Dario Asugo, who we just signed from Sporting Lisbon, he's sort of like a holding midfielder, basically come in to give Caicedo a rotation option. And in both of the preseason games, we changed Caicedo for him and barely noticed a difference. He looked class, like a good ball winner. He seems to get his head up a touch more than Caicedo and look for a pass. Caicedo's obviously clearly the outright starter, but I think Dario Asugo could, in a time when Caicedo looked like he did his ACL about 4 times in that Club World Cup, and he carried on running. He's an absolute machine, but at some point, having him on the bench for some games ain't going to do us any harm. So I think him. I think Joel Hatto, who we just signed from Ajax.
Yeah.
Again, Cucurella played every minute God sent last year. He could do with a break. And Jamie Gittins on the left wing. He looks electric on the left wing. He reminded me a bit, and I hope it turns out better than this, a bit like when Savinho played his first couple of games for City, and we were all oh shit, like what an agent bought. I hope it turns out better in terms of an output, but he looks pretty good. But the overall one to watch, and I don't think you can say it's gone under the radar because it's a big deal, but Estevao has finally joined the first team.
Yes, the mythical Estevao, the next insert Brazilian here.
Yeah, and it's weird because like we saw Madueke and we brought him in, and it's like Madueke is a bit more experienced and all this. I've watched him for 2 games, and I watched him I made sure to go out my way to watch Palmeiras in the Club World Cup because I knew he was playing, and he is twice the player Madueke is on that right hand side. I think the hype is very, very real with this kid, and I think he's going to compete with Neto for that right wing spot, and I think Pedro Neto is an established first team starter. But I don't think that would last for long if Estevao kicks on even half of what I think. I think this kid is going to be, injuries permitting and scandals permitting and all the rest of it. I think he could be an absolute superstar. So
you've always got to insert the potential scandal when it's a Brazilian. There's just something that comes with him that is like, you wouldn't say it if he was a young German kid. You wouldn't say
you wouldn't give a shit,
scandal.
But I've seen some things I like. Like he did an interview with Chelsea, and maybe he got instructed to do this by his PR. Like they're like Endrick got married when he was like 17 to some 30-year-old or something. Like and Yamal's doing some weird stuff with dwarfs, and it's all a bit fucking strange. Estevao comes in this interview. He's in my spare time, I just like to go to church on a Sunday and spend time with family. I'm like, yes, this is what I want to hear. You're a good going church boy. He just enjoys a bit of football on a weekend.
You can see the auto cue. You can see the auto cue behind the camera. He's like, I just go to church.
I do the Lord's Prayer every Sunday at 9 a.m. It was like, yes, I don't care if it's not real. This is what I want. I don't want any scandal. But no, I think keep an eye out on Estevao William because I think he could tear up the Premier League this year, even at his young age. I think it'll just depend on how we manage his minutes because I think you'll want to. He's a slight lad. He's the classico. He could put some size on, but in the Brazilian league, he's getting battered by these big motherfuckers, and he's fine. In the Club World Cup, he didn't have any issue brushing Cucurella off him. So
yeah.
Estevao was the one.
My only hesitation with all of these kids who come from Brazil is we've seen so many the next Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Neymar, whatever. I mean, Arsenal snap them up like they're going out of fashion. Like there's only a few Brazilians left. Like we've been through it. We had Wellington Silva and Marquinhos, and I don't know. We might have struck a little bit of gold in terms of value with Martinelli, but there's been others, and they come and go.
They do.
Even with Endrick, there was so much made about him at Real Madrid, and that's not really set the world alight. And God, there could be a list of 100 names here who haven't lived up to the hype from Brazil. But everything looks good so far. So, breaking news: we're giving Scott Naylor the overriding power of the Chelsea. Todd Bowley's having a week off.
Right, bloody sign.
The fix. So where were your concerns? Where's your first port of call with the fix at Chelsea? How do you get them to the next step? What would you just address first as a fan?
Okay, there is one main thing that's really getting on my nerves, and that I would fix immediately. And I'm going to caveat this because I think a lot of the reasons for this not being taken care of is somewhat for the right reasons, but at the same time, I'm like, fucking today, let's get this wrapped up. And it's the front of shirt sponsor. This will be the third year that we've gone into a season without one. And weirdly, when Forest did it, it was, it's a throwback, it's brilliant. When we did it, it's like, they're all over the show, they don't know what they're doing, but whatever, we'll skip past that.
I wonder if it's stopping fans buying the shirt.
It's stopping, genuinely is stopping me buying the shirt, because this is the first year, and I've said this in our group, Chelsea's kits of recent years have been woeful. I've hated almost all of them. But this year, we've got 3 absolute beauties. And I think that Total 90 regen kit that I've shown in the chat, that's they put a preview out of this is our third kit coming soon. It's like the Total 90 ball is in the promo shop. So that's happening. So we're going to have 3 all-timer kits. And I also feel like it's a kit that we're going to do something special in this year. So I want it. But apparently Qatar Airways is on the shortlist. And I've seen the mock-ups. And I've seen the vision, and I want it. I don't want to buy it until that's out. So I'm like, I've got fucking 300 quid burning all in my pocket because I want these shirts, but I don't want what effectively looks to me like a training shirt. I want the real deal. And my issue, this is my problem. This is why I'm so torn on it, is because they've probably waited until the Club World Cup to get on that massive global stage, and they then have more bargaining power to go into. We've got Champions League, we're world champions, all this. So it's probably going to pay off, but it's like we kick off on Sunday and we've still not heard anything. It's like, just tell us who it is. And then, that's really annoying me, because I think you border on getting a bit ridiculous now. I get trying to get the best deal, and I get trying to work something out. And I guess if you play your cards right, you get an extra 40 million over the contract, then okay, it was worth it. But I think it's bad for optics, and that's not always the most important thing, but I think it can really impact people's perception, which is really crucial, I think.
Perception is everything, as they say. But it does seem like things have calmed down in terms of the craziness that is Todd Bowley. Obviously, the manager settled the ship. The swarm of players that have been in and out the Stamford Bridge revolving door. It's all seemed to have calmed down, and the panic and the craziness has settled. So, I mean, when it comes down to something as you can call it petty as a front of shirt sponsor, I mean, you're in a good spot when that's all you've got to worry about, really.
If that's my biggest concern, it's not too bad. I mean, something else I think should be high on the list. And again, it's easier said than done. It's easy for me to complain about it. We need to clear out the dregs of the early Todd Bowley days, where we've got Raheem Sterling on 350 grand a week. Chilwell got a massive contract extension. It was a huge mistake to give him that. But we're operating, and again, that craziness that you talk about, I think when you break down the timeline, I think we spoke about this on one of our first episodes, about how it all lined up. There wasn't really much choice that we had, given the short turnaround between ownership change and all the rest of it. So Bowley was operating on zero information, and his stance was, get the biggest names in. I'll speak to a few people and get recommendations, and I'll just crack on, because I've got I've got 2 months to get
You
this
got to
all done.
plug the holes first. If you're sinking, you start before you start worrying about fixing the engine. You need to start plugging the holes and stop.
There's water coming in.
Yeah,
shit. So I think there's work to do. Then you see how hard it is to get rid of Chilwell. Went to Palace on loan. England international, Champions League winner. No one's interested. Sterling again, massive household name. Still not even broken 30 yet. No one's in. I think Fulham are interested, but again, is that an easy deal to do when he's probably not going to want to drop wages and things? So there's eventually their contracts will run out, but you see it now. We can't sign Simmons until someone's out the door.
Yeah.
These are people who are very, very, and I think that's one reason why we're so good at selling now, is because the wages aren't so high, so they're easy to get to new clubs because you're not having to sign them on. Even if you sign someone for 30 million, you might be paying them 75 grand a week instead of 200. It's an much easier deal to do.
I think it's so wise to, and I am a big fan of incentive-based contracts. Like give Cole Palmer an 8-year contract.
Yeah.
Give him a basic, I don't know, let's be generous and say 100. And then, every goal is this.
100%.
Every whatever is this. And let him try and earn 250 grand a week. See how well people start playing then when they can double the wage in a week.
Yeah. Winners a league and a Champions League, you can have whatever your heart desires. Literally, if you want an island, we'll buy it for you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think that's how, and Liverpool led the way with that, I think. And I think more and more teams are starting to get, PSR's coming into that as well. But I think you're seeing, I don't know if it's the Chelsea model, the Liverpool model, it's probably an amalgamation of loads of different clubs now. But I think you're going to start seeing clubs back away from these massive wages and these huge, I think it's going to gradually start to come down. And then, as you said, incentivized for actual achievement. Because
Saka's last contract was. I mean, Rashford's is a horror story of what you do in negotiation from a club point of view. With Saka's last contract, I think that was like a basic of 200 or 190, but with the potential to become 280, 290, making the highest earner in the club.
Yeah.
I mean, that comes with being great on the pitch. I mean, he's looking to sign again. I'm sure he'll get a bit of a bump in the basic, but it'll be on the same page. Saliba's the same. So, it's a worthwhile trend. I mean, and it's the only way clubs are going to be able to combat the impending collapse of Sky, which is
it's any day now.
A fun episode in the future.
Yeah,
so
can't fucking wait for that.
We've got Scott's fix. Expectations for the season. Where are you at?
Okay, so the best case scenario is that we challenge for the league. As I said before, I think we're dark horses. I think yourselves, Man City, Liverpool are maybe slightly ahead in terms of, although Liverpool, I do think their squad building this year has taken a bit of a weird turn. I don't think they're really doing things with the same considered approach that they've done. They've gone the Galactico way, and I don't know if it's going to work for them. But
I'm saving my Liverpool opinion for the predictions episode.
Yeah, I'll bite my tongue until we get to predictions. But I think we could be dark horses. I don't expect us to win it, but if we do win, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, where did that come from? I think we could do something there. I think we realistically have to climb up to second or third. In a best case, if we don't win the league, we need to push on from fourth. And I think another piece of silverware is vital. I think winning, people laugh at the Conference League, and maybe rightly so for a club our size. But seeing that group of players win something together is kind of like the first proof we've had that this model is going to work. It's like there's something there for you to latch on. It's not just hope anymore. You've seen them lift something, however big or small it may be. And then you see the Club World Cup as well. If we just need to carry that on. I honestly, if we came third with a League Cup, that to me is a class season because it's more winning. Donald Trump, we have to win more. You're going to get tired of winning. That's what I want to see. But I think worst case, if we repeated last year, if we can secure Champions League again strongly, I think that's also okay. I think we need a strong cup performance somewhere if we're not going to do well in the league.
Are you worried about how the Champions League is going to affect you? I mean, the Conference League clearly didn't affect you that much, but the games are a lot harder.
They feel like it
comes thicker and faster.
Major rotation. In the Conference League, we basically had a B team that everyone pointed out.
So that is going to be a place where you obviously can't rotate as much. Maybe and I think one thing that Chelsea have done well is while they may not have raised the bar with any signings. There hasn't been an Alexander Isak,
Yeah.
but they've certainly raised the floor with a lot of the signings. So you bring the maybe the stragglers, you get rid of them and you bring that level up a little bit more rather than trying for someone to reach the top all the time. I think it's an important thing that maybe Liverpool have gone the opposite direction and gone, we're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep 3-pointing, slam dunk. This is all.
Yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Like, is it better to have 3 10 out of 10 players and the rest in the middle, or 11 8 out of 10s?
Yeah,
it's one of those, isn't it? Like, your consistency there is probably going to net you more success over a longer period.
So key.
So yeah, I totally agree with that. I think so expectations. I think a strong league performance, maybe even a title charge if things go our way. But I think bare minimum we need 4th place or Champions League football, however you slice it. But I think 4th, if we drop to 5th after coming 4th, the only way you paper over that is if we win the Champions League, which again, I see no reason why we can't do.
It all depends in the manner as well. If you finish 5th, but there's a point separating you from 2nd, and it's the sort of manner of it. If you end up 20 points off Arsenal, who are obviously going to win the league, but if you finish like 25 points away from them, then it's like then it's more concerning than maybe the impression of it. Even if you finish second, but it's by 50 points, the perception is it's the second.
Yeah, you came second, but these lot battered everyone. So it doesn't matter what happened to them. Yeah, it's so true. You can't really. 4th can be amazing or shocking, depending on how the rest of the table looks. But I think a cup and Champions League is the bare minimum, I think.
You think that, and that's across the board as well for Chelsea fans. There's no desire to be like, we should be challenging this season, because I think most of them are in your boat where it's enjoying the journey, the project. We've seen progression now for a good. Even under Pochettino, that's sort of when it's the back end of Pochettino is when it started to turn, and you've got to grips on it. Maresca's first full season, worked through a lot of kinks, straightened out, sort of got players fit, and got us a decent starting 11, if you will, a first 11. And now is another push on season, and then maybe that desire of pressure on a title charge will come next year.
Yeah, I think that's the overall consensus. Is most Chelsea fans are expecting that the 26-7 season is the one where we're like, right, this is the. But it's interesting to hear how Maresca's public stance changes. Like, he was like last year, he was downplaying the title, and rightly so, because he was right. We're never going to win the league last year.
It sounded allergic to it last year. He's like, whoa.
Yeah,
don't say title here, mate.
It's one of them, isn't it? Like, he'd be silly. He would be equally as silly to say, "Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll be right up there. Don't worry."
We're good.
we're gonna batter it. You can't do that, and you can't. But this year, he's actually. I think he got asked. I don't know if it was a Chelsea-based interview or somewhere else, but he said last year we weren't anywhere near. But he said this year we're a lot closer. So I think the message internally to the dressing room is more of a, you guys can go on and do something here.
Yeah.
So I think we're in a nice spot of, if we don't win the league, no one expects it, and it's fine. But if we do win it, it's kind of like, that could happen. I can see it. So cool. It's a nice place to be. So yeah, but more silverware, whichever format it comes, I think is most important.
Annoyingly, I think you are on the right paths again. It was fun while it lasted, this demise, but I'm tipping Chelsea for a strong season, genuinely. So I would say good luck, but I don't mean it, so I won't.
No. The colossal Chelsea. We don't need it. We'll just stomp all over everybody else's dreams and just be the gargantuan.
Scott, cheers very much, mate. Where can people find you? What are you up to?
So you can find me on Twitter. Oh, fucking hell, I couldn't remember my app for a second there. My at on Twitter is Blue Sabre, so that's BLUESABRE. You can find me there. I talk all things Chelsea, and and you'll find me interacting with the Fixing Football podcast crew over the course of the season, I'm sure. Maybe even some live stuff from some mighty Chelsea games that I plan on getting to this season.
That's what we're talking about. We'll see you back on the predictions episode in a few weeks.
Absolutely will.
Cool. Right. Cheers, mate.
Right.
See you soon.
See you later.